Hey gamer friends, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Josiah,
and
we
we are
are
ready
ready
to
to roll.
roll.
We're going to be talking about our favorite revisitable games.
A few weeks ago, we actually did a video where we discussed replayability. We'll have a link for it above if you want to go back and check that out. But we discussed the difference between replayability and revisitability. Replayability are those games that you just want to pull off the shelf and play over and over and over again. And revisitability fall into the category of maybe you really enjoyed the game, but you don't necessarily want to go back to it over and over and over again. However, you like it enough to pull it out occasionally to play. Maybe it's for a certain reason or for a certain occasion. Those are the games that you want to pull out and play.
And then we did a video where we talked about our favorite replayable games. And we listed those out, and you can click the link above to watch that video.
And so now we are discussing our favorite revisitable games.
Yep.
So this is that other category of games where maybe we just want to play it occasionally.
Yeah. And these are in no particular order.
Right.
So this is not a top 10.
No, there are 10,
there are
but
10.
It's not a top 10.
That's right. That's right.
We just were thinking about games that we just really like to play, but only every once in a while.
That's right.
So the first up on our list is Architects of the West Kingdom. Architects is a game that we don't play really often.
No.
But I love Architects. I love it with 5 players. I like it with the max player count. There's all these meeples that you get at the very beginning, and you get to just place them out, and you're taking other people's meeples and you're putting them in jail.
Right.
So it's not a game that has a lot of replayability. I'd probably get tired of it if we played it all the time. But I love bringing it out occasionally.
Yeah, and when you play it at 5, it's a lot more chaotic.
Yes.
And so if you enjoy chaos in games, it's a lot more fun at 5.
Yes, I do enjoy a little chaos in games.
Yeah, this isn't one of my favorite games. I get a little overwhelmed with all the choice that you get to do, that you have, but it has grown on me, I will say.
Yes.
And so I do think this belongs in the revisitable game list for us. But maybe like once or twice a year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, the next one that we'll talk about is Awkward Guests.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deduction game where it's kind of like Clue on steroids.
Yes.
And so we've played this with several different player counts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best for me was at 6 or 7, I think.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking a little bit less than that, like 5 or 6 maybe.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the group.
Probably.
Yeah. We did play with one group, and I think there were 7 of us, and it was really fun. But maybe 5, 5 or 6, is better. But anyway, it's basically you just go around and you're trying to, you're trading clues with people, and you're trying to solve the mystery of who killed, who done it. That's right, and with what weapon in what room, basically. But this is a game that I don't feel like you can play over and over and over again. One, because you'll move through the content, like all the content, and and then it's not as enjoyable or feeling new.
They have a lot of content, but it would get samey, I think, after a while.
Yeah.
That's maybe what you're trying to say, because it's like you're doing kind of the same things over and over.
That's right. It also requires a decent amount of brain power.
Yes, that's true.
And so I think it would get exhausting a little bit if you played it over and over and over again. So, but if once a year for Christmas when we have family over and we play it, amazing.
Yes.
Love it.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it's a great one to pull out occasionally.
Yeah.
Third on our list is Champions of Midgard. I love Champions of Midgard. It is such a great game. We've talked about it before that we added the Valhalla expansion, and it just upped the gameplay a lot. I like the theme. I like everything about it. But I do think that I would get bored with it if we played it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think it has the replayability that I want in a game, but I do love bringing it out. Like we said, once or twice a year, just bringing it out and playing it gives me those same feelings. I enjoy fighting the trolls or whatever, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I would say because this one is maybe a really light Euro feeling game, there's not a lot to do. There's not it's like you either fight the trolls or the monsters, or you take your ship to the other monsters, right? So there's not a lot to do. But every once in a while pulling it out, when you have time to forget, like what everything, all the experience, it's really fun.
I agree. And that's a good one to show people, I think, too, that are like wanting to go to that next level of gaming. It's a good one to kind of bring in and show, hey, look at what games can do. It has a little bit of fighting and dice rolling, and it has a little bit of worker placement.
Yeah.
So it adds a lot of elements to it that I think are really fun.
Absolutely. The next one we're going to talk about is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. And it's another deduction game. And for the same reasons that we said for Awkward Guests, this one also falls into this category for us.
Right. You can play it with a lot of players, I think maybe 6 or so. And I like it at that higher player count. So you're not going to run into that a lot, first of all. But secondly, I think if you played it through, just like we talked about with Awkward Guests, it would start to get samey after a while. Even though there's a lot of card options, I just feel like it would get samey after a while.
Right.
But I really do enjoy it because it does kind of have a mix between that social deduction, logic deduction.
Yeah.
It is a social deduction game, I think is what it's considered. But it's not as like in your face as a lot of social deduction.
It's a little
games.
more chill.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it's just the cards in front of you. And so you're trying to figure out, well, they could have that. Well, they could also have that. I don't know which one it is. And you don't, if you're the person that's put on the spot, it's not quite as intense, I think, as like a werewolf would be. So anyway, that's why we like it. But at the same time, it's one that we would only play every once in a while. All right, the next one on our list is Hogwarts Battle. Now, this is a revisitable game for us because if you watched our board game origin story, you will know that this is the game that brought us into the hobby. We absolutely have so much nostalgia around Hogwarts Battle because we loved it so much when we first started playing games.
I can't even tell you how long we played that game.
I know, it was so much. We were so excited about games after that.
Yeah.
And so that is why this is a revisitable game for us, because we want to go back and revisit that nostalgia. We know that the game would probably be a little too easy for us at this point, but it holds that place in our heart. So revisiting it is a lot of fun.
The revisiting of this game specifically, there's a lot more time that has to pass.
Yes.
Right? Because of all of those things that you just said.
Yes.
So maybe it's once every 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
We might, want to pull it out and play it again to remember that nostalgia, remember our roots, where we started in our board game hobby. And so, but it definitely belongs in the list. Yeah, the next one that we're going to talk about is Heat Pedal to the Metal. It's a racing game. And you are basically in a like a NASCAR, an IndyCar, or something like that, and you're working your way around a track, and you have to speed up and slow down around corners. You can spin out if you go too fast and things like that. It's a really fun game, and it is better at 4. I don't even know if it goes to 5. I think
it does. Yeah. And with the expansions, I think it goes up pretty high.
Yeah, so I think it would be more fun at those higher player counts, right? So that's another limiting factor for replayability, and also just the content of the game. So it's a really fun game, once or twice, and then you got to shelve it for a little bit, right? Because it just gets too boring if you play it too much.
Yeah, no, I think this is one that a lot of people will disagree with us on. I think some people think that this game has a lot of replayability, and I'm so glad that people want to replay it. It's just for us.
Yeah.
I think it would get a little bit boring.
Yeah. But we love the game.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a knock on the game at all. We love it, and we love pulling it out every once in a while and playing it. So it has a place in our collection for sure.
Yes. Another game on this list is Horrified. Horrified gets a lot of flack but we really enjoyed our plays of Horrified, and I think this is a really fun one. This would be like a seasonal one for me. Like, hey, every Halloween season, let's bring out Horrified and fight some monsters. So it's kind of one of those that falls into that like seasonal category. It's not something we're going to play all the time, but it is something that's fun to bring out and, you know, have a good game night with it.
So the next one we're going to talk about is Quacks of Quedlinburg. This one, I would say, gets on the revisitability list because we've played it a lot. And so for us, it's kind of worn itself out a little bit, but we want to play it and we love playing it, but we need some time in between plays now because we've played it so much. We've used it actually to introduce people to board gaming as an introductory game. And so that's happened several times on top of just our own plays of it. It belongs on our revisitability list because I think we've played it so much.
Yes. The thing I will say that I love about Quacks is getting to, like he said, we've introduced it to different people. And so getting to see their enjoyment of a game for the first time is really fun. And Quacks does it really well because it's that bag builder. There's some excitement there. Am I going to explode? It just shows a lot of different elements of board gaming that people who aren't in the hobby have never seen before. Yet it's a good jumping off point. And so because we've used it a lot, we've obviously played it a lot. But I do still love it for that reason. So I would still be like, hey, let's bring this out because we have these people that are coming over, and I think this would be a good one.
We get to relive those moments that we had vicariously through other people.
That's right.
And so, it's a good game. We love it.
All right, the next one on the list is Robinson Crusoe. This game I have absolutely loved since we first started playing it. It's an older game, and I think they just did a re-implementation of this game. But we have the older version. But I have loved this game, but it is one that is brutal. It is hard on you. It is, I don't know, it wants to beat you up, which I don't mind so much, but it is...
a slog.
It is. It's a slog. It sometimes is really tough to play for long periods of time. So that's why this one is a revisitable game for us, because it's one that we love and we do want to bring it out sometimes, but it is definitely not one we could play over and over.
The next one we want to talk about is Ticket to Ride. This is a lot of people's entry point into board gaming. It's a very light game, right? So it's like almost family weight. Is a family weight, For me, just above like Monopoly and Sorry and games like that, Game of Life. It doesn't have a lot of game in the game, right? So it's just a real simple game, but it's fun.
Yes.
I have fun when I play it. It's just not one that I'm going to choose to play a lot.
Yes. But it's good to bring out sometimes, again, because introducing people to the hobby of board gaming. But also sometimes you just want a game like that where you don't have to, think a lot. And so I think it has a really good place.
Sure.
In the hobby.
Definitely.
And especially because it's one that brings so many people in, and we want to bring more people into the hobby and have fun with games. And so I'm definitely for that. And so if that's a game that we can pull out and bring more people into the hobby, I'm definitely for it.
Yep, absolutely.
But that's why it would be on this list, this revisitable list, and not on a replayable list. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.
And tell us down below, what are some of your most revisitable games? We want to hear about it.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.